So you just finished your first video on how to check if a point is a solution to an equation. Now we're going to go ahead and see what it looks like visually. So where the point is on the line or the point is not on the line. Instead of doing this by hand and finding 3 points and doing a t-table, we're going to go ahead and just graph this online. So I'm going to take my first equation, copy it, and log on to the webpage desmos.com. I'm going to go ahead and click on this section right here, and that will take me to the grapher. So here's a graph that it shows me. I'm going to go ahead on this left side, on this specific spot right here. I'm going to go ahead and graph my line. Automatically pops up. You don't have to hit enter. Now I'm going to take my point to -1. I'm going to put it on right below. And then I can see that my point is on the line. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a quick sketch of this, and I'm going to put it on the right side. So I'm going to slide this over so I can see both of them at the same time. Actually, I don't need to do that. I can just write on it with both of them showing. So I'm going to go ahead and graph the point to -1. And I'm going to just quickly put it onto my graph, and that's not what I want. I want the pen. So let's go ahead and graph to -1. Now I'm just going to do a quick sketch of my line. It doesn't have to be perfect. I just want to see it on your paper. So I'm just going to draw the line real quick with my arrows on both ends. So that's pretty much what I want you to do for all 3. So I'll do the other 2. Actually, you want to watch the third video, the third part, because it's a little tricky on that last one, and I'll show you why. So let's go ahead and move on to the second one. So I'm going to go ahead and take my second equation. I'm going to copy it. My new line should appear on Desmos. Take my point. I'm going to put it on Desmos again. As we can see, the second one, not on the line, as we saw in the actual algebraic method in the first video. So let's go ahead and do a quick sketch of this. Our point is 4, 3. So I'm going to go 4 to the right, 3 up. That's where my point is at. I'm going to do a quick sketch. I notice that on my graph, the line intersects the axis right here at 5, so I'm going to make sure that shows up right here. I'm just going to go ahead and do a quick sketch. That didn't come out very nice. Let's try it again. So again, just a quick sketch that kind of looks like what it's supposed to look like. So let's move on to the third one. This is the one that's a little tricky. You'll see why in a second. So let's scroll down to the last one. It's the same equation, but a different point. So let's go ahead and change the point here. So as we can see, the point is not showing up on our graph because we're only going to 10 in each direction. So we're going to have to zoom out. So the way I'm going to zoom out is by hitting the minus sign on the axis. So it's right here on this spot where it says zoom out. So I'm going to click on it, and it will go further out, and we can see the point now. So how am I going to graph this if my graph doesn't have a number all the way to 20 in each direction? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the scale on my graph. So I'm going to zoom in on this a little bit more. I'll probably put something like 400%. And go to the graph. It's a nice big graph now. So I'm going to go on my Desmos, scoot this over. I'm going to go ahead and change the scale on my grid. So instead of going by 1, 2, 3, I am going to rename them as 5s. So I'm going to rescale this at 5 for every tick mark. So I'm just going to write over it. The same thing on the y-axis, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30. Alright, so I'm not going to do it for the negatives, I'm just going to cross them out just to make life easy myself. So now I'm going to go ahead and graph this. I'm going to go ahead and graph the point 418. I'm going to change the color since I already have the red going. I'm going to go, remember this first tick mark to the left is -5, so it's slightly to the left, and I'm going to go up 18. So it's going to be approximately right there. Now I'm just going to draw the line. Notice that on our line, we hit the 10 and the 5 on the X and Y axis. So when I draw my line, I'm going to try to make sure that happens. So I'm going to change the color just for visual sakes. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my line where it hits the 10 and the 5 to start my line. There it is. And I'm just going to make sure it hits that point 418, or negative 418 to be exact. And I'm all done. So now it's your turn to go ahead and do the practice page. Good luck.